Alrighty, welcome back. Another episode, our last 2024 NFL season episode, and we are celebrating it on a Lombardi Trophy victory. Your
Beautiful.
Philadelphia Eagles are Super Bowl 59 champions.
Normally this day is like sad where, the
Yeah,
football season's over, but this is great.
oh,
I love it. I love the offside season a lot more when you are just spent celebrating and bathing in greatness.
yeah.
Like after the Eagles won the Super Bowl in 52,
Uh-huh.
I brought up the fact that they won the Super Bowl nearly in every conversation I had for the next 3 months. Easily.
Yeah, it was great. And it was even better for me because at that time I was going to grad school at Temple. So like, I was basically in the city every day and everyone had all their gear on and it was great. I will say, and I don't want to diminish like the significance of this victory, but for me at least, I realize how impactful your first Super Bowl is because the feeling is it also could have been because we just blew out the Chiefs,
I do think that played a part in it.
but I was like more elated than I was like hyped. Like when we won 52 or yeah, 52. I mean, that was also like Brandon Graham strip sack, then a Hail Mary down by 8 by Brady, and that ended the game. Like obviously like the emotions were insane. That was our first Super Bowl and it was with a backup quarterback and all this drama and it was a theatric thing. Um and I feel like the hype everywhere else was like crazy. But now it's like, oh, so this is what winning the big game consistently and being in it consistently is like. Um, so it didn't really like when we won in the moment, I was like happy, but I wasn't like boiling with like crazy excitement and all this stuff. Um, I mean, I remember when I drove home from because I went to my parents to watch. I was driving home after, and like I remember I rolled the windows down. I was like screaming like we're Super Bowl champs. Like that's when it hit
Nice.
me. But yeah, it was definitely a different feeling, but still like obviously super exciting, super happy. Um and probably funny enough, the least stressful Eagles game I think I've ever watched, which is
Oh,
saying
easily.
something.
Yeah. I,
Like
I
I was just sitting back,
honestly,
eating snacks, drinking beer, like it was a good time.
the two biggest games of the year were like the easiest. Between
Oh
that and
yeah.
the Washington game, they just
Oh
were
yeah.
absolutely on a tear. I agree. I mean, we sound spoiled how quickly life happens
Yeah.
when we're like, oh, it's not as good as the first one we won. But
Mhm.
I also feel like there is the element to this game was over at halftime. Like they just went
Which was
like the
crazy.
Patriots won, you were on the edge of your seat and it all hit you at once because the game was just so tight, so close, came down to literally the last second. This one, like, I mean, I was celebrating from halftime on. Like,
Oh
I didn't
yeah.
want to get ahead of myself, but I also realized, like, it wasn't even just the score. We were dominating them in every aspect. They looked lost. The Chiefs looked beaten and crushed. Like, you looked at their body language, they looked like a team that lost. And it was like the third quarter.
If I had asked you before the game started and I was like, "Do you think Pat Mahomes is going to get sacked for a career high in this game? Do you think Jake Elliott is going to score the most points by a kicker in a Super Bowl and go 4 for 4? Do you think
Wow, that one I did not know. Jake, one of the biggest worries we had.
his best game of the season
Great game for
saved it
Jake.
for the Super Bowl? And it wasn't even like need like we didn't even need him, but
I don't
which
know.
was
That first
also
that first field goal was huge.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
and the fact that he did it on two field goals where they had to back it up on the penalty, like everyone had the greatest game of their life except for Lovato. Most
Yeah.
people didn't even know the guy's name, and he's getting major airtime in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
But Jake just, when they had the first penalty, I was like, damn man, don't make him kick this
I was like,
again.
what are
He's
we? I was
definitely
like, what are
missing
we
it.
doing? I thought the same thing. I had to leave the room. I was like, I can't watch this.
You just saw, you're like, damn it, this is where we lose the momentum.
And then, but I think on his last one, the 50 yarder, I think on the Kevin Burkhardt or Brady, I forget who, they said afterwards that that would have, I guess, however the stat thing measures the field goal power or length, whatever. They said that one would have been good from 65. I was like,
He
okay.
he really had an incredible game. I mean,
Oh, he was lights out. Lights out.
give him this. He was
He clocked in.
erratic, erratic all year.
Yeah.
He can't hit anything past 50 yards when everyone is kicking him from 60 nowadays.
He was like 1 for 8 from 50 during the season.
But give him a lot of credit. In the playoffs, he stepped up when you needed him. He was perfect in the Super Bowl. Those kicks in the snow, I mean, I
Oh
still
yeah.
like those were huge. Though he had a big part in winning that Rams game. Not going to be wrong, missing the extra points probably put you in
Tough
the other side of
situation.
the
Yeah.
argument. But good for Jake.
Yeah.
You know what? I was happy with Jake. I really was worried about him going in, and he did need him, but that first field goal was big, big for momentum.
And should I add on to the first point I made about the 6 sacks? We didn't blitz. Or maybe
Yeah.
once or twice they said, but we like 4-man rush the whole game.
Oh, Brady just, or not Brady, Mahomes just looked uncomfortable all day.
You got
Brady
deja
kept
vu.
on like, I mean, overall, not a huge Brady as an announcer fan. He has gotten better, but I overall haven't thought he's great. The way he just kept breaking down, like Patrick Mahomes, like he just kept going at the same thing. Like, look at his feet. He just looks so uncomfortable. He looks off. He just
Hmm.
looks every play immediately. You can see he's got no confidence. The way he kind of broke down how rattled and how lost Mahomes looked, I loved. I loved every second of it. Those are my favorite words.
It
Where he just
was,
you could see him saying like he's just there's no way. There's no way he can play like this.
and I know it's like their job to like when you're like I can't imagine as a commentator what the hell you talk about when the game is that lopsided. Um, but they were like I think it was like 33-6 or whatever, and they were like I think it was Tom Brady was like, yeah, well, they got to get some stuff together here if they're gonna make a comeback. And I'm like, there's 8 minutes left. Come on, Tom. Like, are we really gonna have this conversation? Like, I know it's Mahomes, but they are not scoring, you know, 38 points in eight
You know what?
minutes.
But yeah, I'm a little surprised that Brady or whoever Burkhardt actually,
Burkhardt.
because I mean, I don't expect Brady to just kind of live into it too much, but
Mhm.
Burkhardt not bringing up like the 28-3 more. They mentioned it here and there, but
I didn't
they
hear it. I
really
don't think
didn't
I heard
touch
it at
it.
all, really.
But that was the thing. Like the third quarter, like they had to put it in. But you know what the difference was like everyone knew the game was over. The
Yeah.
Chiefs looked broken. They just looked lost. You looked at their bench. I was shocked. I like
I
that was the moment when they panned to the sideline of the Chiefs and you looked at everyone sitting on that bench.
oh,
You could just see they
their
had given
soul
up.
was their souls were crushed.
They had no fight in them. They knew they were getting worked and they
I,
had nothing left from them.
I knew it was over when I think it was either it was on either the Kelsey drop or the D Hop drop.
Oh, that Hopkins drop was brutal.
And then Chris
They
Joe
needed
they
that.
panned to the sideline. Chris Jones just falls to his
Yeah.
knees. And
That was the
I was like,
Hopkins
yep,
drop.
they're defeated. They're done.
They were desperate for something at that point because they had really nothing going for them. And that was like a small glimmer of hope just to get something to build off of.
And what if I would have told you that the Eagles and Nick Sirianni's staff would have outcoached Andy Reid and Steve Spagnuolo? You wouldn't have believed me.
You know, let's see, give credit to
Perfect game plan.
Fangio's looked great all year.
Oh
He
my
had a
God.
great defensive game plan. Oh my God. The Chiefs looked lost. See, Mahomes looked awful. Like I will say, obviously the pressuring him, was a big part. Like he was never comfortable. The offensive line just got worked. Joe Tooney at left tackle was a big, big mistake.
Yeah.
Never chipping or never
I
keeping anyone in the
that was
backfield or tight ends was also confusing.
I
Like,
know it's a hard transition, but I was shocked at how bad he was for being one of the best guards in the NFL for how bad he played at tackle.
I mean, completely different position,
I
but
know, but I'm saying still, it's like, wow.
the other thing is like we saw Mahomes get pressured a lot in the Buccaneers Super Bowl.
Hmm.
But I actually didn't think Mahomes looked that bad. Like I thought Mahomes actually played pretty decent. His defense couldn't stop anyone, and Tyreek Hill had that touchdown that hit his hands. That
Hmm.
you got the meme of Patrick Mahomes fully in air, horizontal, throwing it,
Yeah.
and like the team just wasn't. They let Mahomes down. Mahomes looked awful. He
Yeah.
looked like pick your word, the worst quarterback in the league. That's what Mahomes looked like. He
Yeah, it
was now. Don't get
was.
me wrong. His team didn't help him, but Mahomes looked lost.
Yeah, Mahomes looked lost. Kelsey looked old. Hopkins looked old. I mean, Hopkins had a nice touchdown catch against Quinion, but I mean, it was in
Oh
garbage
man, the
time.
game was well over at that
Yeah,
point.
same with like CJ. Like he let up like Xavier Worthy had 150 receiving yards. Like,
He
but
had
the rest of the team did
50 on that one
nothing.
touchdown in garbage time.
Yeah, the rest of the team they had 24 rushing yards as a team.
We had more points than they did yards at halftime.
I love Andy Reid, for what the time he spent in Philly, but like that is such a typical Andy Reid, like old Andy Reid, where like you just abandon the run and you
Yep.
like
Yep.
that was it was eye-opening.
They literally just in every single facet of this game just crushed them.
Yeah.
Fangio was excellent in his game plan. He really like just put on a master clinic. I will shout out, and we do have to acknowledge because he's taken the Saints job, and I would like to say a lot of good things. I was really happy with Kellen Moore this year. I
Mm,
thought he did really well. I thought what we were saying about Andy Reid abandoning the run, Kellen Moore stuck to his game plan. He kept it simple. When they signed Saquon Barkley, I thought, you know what? I know who Kellen Moore definitely had a big say in this. The guy played in his division for a while.
yeah.
We never signed running backs. Suddenly you bring in a new offensive coordinator and you get the best running back in the league. And he used him to like the best of his ability to
Mm,
make that big signing make sense. And I thought even more impressively, Saquon Barkley did not have a good game. Spagnuolo, give him credit. They came up with a game plan to stop Barkley, and it worked.
yeah.
And then, but I feel like we were still running the ball. Like Millen Moore did not just give up on the run. They still gave Barkley his touches, as you rightfully so. But I mean, Jalen looked great. The passing game was awesome. The passing game everyone crapped on all year. Moore came out and had it ready to go when his
Jahan
first option
Dotson,
wasn't. Yeah, Jahan Dotson,
2 catches,
everyone,
42
man,
yards. Who would have
top to
thought?
bottom. So I got to say, Kellen Moore really did a good job this whole season. I thought he was great in the Super Bowl when your first option that got you there all year wasn't there. Didn't give up on the run, but I knew it wasn't working and knew he had to rely on the passing game. And Jalen did. But really, I mean, coaching wise, that was my thoughts. And then Nick, I think me and you both were on this side. I never wanted to give up and fire Nick. I was
No,
really
it didn't make
thought the
sense.
coordinators were the biggest problem. I always liked Hurts. You always supported Hurts, after we got rid of Carson Wentz because you
Yeah,
wanted Carson Wentz for a long time before Jalen Hurts.
true.
But give him credit, man. Those two just went and won a Super Bowl. They just beat the crap out of a dynasty.
Does uh does Carson Wentz retire now that he's had to watch both his backup quarterbacks win Super Bowls
I mean,
from the bench?
it's kind of tough. Now, I'll eat my own words. I will remember when we drafted Jalen Hurts, or no, when we switched to Jalen Hurts in the
Mhm.
year with Carson, and thinking my nightmare is we move on from Carson Wentz. He does really good somewhere else, and Jalen Hurts is not the guy. And boy, if I could just take that Tim, who with his long beard and his pandemic boredom, and just tell you, it'll be okay. Everything will be okay.
Now, yeah, I mean, not that we need to spend any time on Carson Wentz, but I think if we don't know what would have happened bearing that ACL injury he had, and we don't know how he would have performed healthy with a team like this, but it was his mental and his leadership that was also part of his demise. So, and Jalen's like the most perfect leader you could ask for.
Oh, of course.
Um,
Him and Nick don't get enough credit with that. They really hold
no,
that team together. Think of all the drama that like people just make out of this team.
yeah,
Think about the AJ Brown reading the book. Think about when Brandon Graham, who is a member of the team,
hmm
goes and calls out
yeah,
Jalen Hurts and
that's
AJ
still weird.
Brown, like your 14-year veteran team captain who's playing on the team,
Yeah,
goes on the show and says, this and that. Um, I mean, the rumors that Brown was going to get traded, the all the hate that everyone wanted Sirianni fired,
yeah,
all the hate. I mean, all off season, all I heard was people thinking Hurts is not the guy. Like, I don't think we can do it with Hurts. Besides this, when people took a break from saying we should fire Nick Sirianni, was Jalen Hurts is not the guy.
yeah.
It was, I
Um,
mean, credit all around. The team was so good. I was a little on Howie when we struggled in the beginning,
oh
thinking,
yeah, I mean, everybody was. Nolan Smith wasn't good. Jalen was struggling with turnovers. I mean, Saquon was great, but we were 2-2, and everyone was calling for Sirianni's head, like you said. And so
but
after
you're
that buy, that that was I hate early bye weeks, but that week 5 bye week was such a blessing. Like
changed everything.
they that yeah. the whole season flipped. Um, I don't know about you. I'm assuming you would agree, but in my God, I'm gonna make myself seem old now. I've probably been watching the Eagles since like 1999, 2000. Um, this is the best Eagles team I've ever seen, and I don't think it's that close.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the only two other ones you're going to really contemplate is probably the two Super Bowl teams, 17 and
I think 22
TO team.
is pretty close, and I would put the 17 team just had a lot of like momentum and camaraderie, much like this team, like a lot of teamwork, a lot of like familyness. But yeah, no, the Super Bowl one with T.O., was that 2004? Like that team was stacked. Great defense, great offense. Brian Westbrook, Don McNabb, yeah, Dawkins, Shepard,
I mean,
Brown,
I would agree with you though,
Trot,
because the numbers you're
Hurst.
saying, like Jalen McNabb. I mean, I'm probably taking Jalen there. I mean, Westbrook's great, but I'm taking Barkley.
I I can't yet. I love Jalen, but he's not. He hasn't like Donovan McNabb was. I still think not. He's still kind of disrespected. I think nowadays, but I know we only got to one
I
Super
think
Bowl
you're.
with him, but like he was the like a top five quarterback for a good 6, 7 years.
I
So
will also say that the difference between and Hurts now is McNabb was a big reason we never hopped over that hump.
I
Like,
mean, he was throwing to
he
Todd Pinkston and
I
James Thrash.
mean, yeah, he's still, but the TO
Come on,
year,
man. You know what's the
say what you want.
what is the silver lining though with every the modern day Eagles that have all gone to the Super Bowl?
The silver lining.
Where is their biggest strength in every Super Bowl?
Well, I gotta say, well, the last three was always the line.
Yeah, built in the trenches. All three.
Well, yeah,
Because even in the '04 Super Bowl, that great offensive line,
yeah.
and great defensive line. I think, yeah, this like top to bottom, this team, we're gonna
I
lose
would
a
agree
lot of
with you.
players, I think.
No, I would definitely agree with you. I think they're better than 17. We already talked extensively last week about how we think they're better than the team from 2 years ago.
Yeah.
I mean, I honestly think we're underrating them because, man, I think Cooper DeJean is going to be like one of the best players in the NFL. I don't think I was giving him enough credit. Quinion has the problem that we just never talk about him because no one ever like can catch anything or no one throws at him.
I mean, when's the last time we had a player up for MVP, Offensive Player of the Year, Defensive Player of the Year, two rookies up for Defensive Rookie of the Year, um, and coach for coach like assistant coach of the year. Another player getting mentioned in the same breath as Aaron Donald. Like this is the
It
most talented team I've ever
This
seen
all right, better
for the
comparison for
Eagles.
you. I think the other thing that like really needs to settle in because I don't know, I think if it had happened so quickly and it grew so quickly, this is probably one of the best defenses in the NFL in I don't know, I put it right there with the Legion of Boom,
I
the
forget some.
15
I don't know.
Broncos. I mean,
Yeah,
dude,
I
they
don't.
just embarrassed Patrick Mahomes and the back-to-back defending Super Bowl champions.
Yeah, I can't remember if it was on ESPN or a different news outlet, but someone made that comparison. They said this is, and it was a former player. He said this is the best defense I've seen since the Legion of Boom. Um, and it
I mean, I'd have to agree with you. The best thing about this team, though, give credit to Howie, and I think also give credit to Fangio and the rest of his staff.
mhm.
Look at the depth, man.
Oh yeah.
Like look at the guys that were making plays. Jelix Hunt was getting his name dropped a lot
He
there. I mean, Jelix Hunt made a lot of
For as raw
lot of plays.
he was supposed to be coming out of the draft out
He
of
looked really good.
Houston Christian or whatever the hell he came from.
Ojom, he
Hmm.
had a couple nice plays. If you factor in that Bryce Huff was supposed to be the starter and Brandon Graham and
Dude,
Nolan
suit up.
Smith and Josh Sweat have balled out of their mind.
Yeah, yeah.
Like that's what you want to talk about. Like Josh Smith had what 2 sacks? Nolan Smith might have had a sack. I can't remember off the top of my head. He was all over the place. But those were your backups going into the season. Even guys like Burks, I thought Burks since Dean's gone down has looked really good.
He was
Hell,
aggressive,
Maddox, who
flying
lost his
around.
job to DeJean, made a play. Rogers has made plays all year. It's just This defense, top to bottom in every aspect, is so good. There is no weakness. And I mean, there's no weakness to the backups. You can roll it with any of those backups you want, and they're
Yeah.
so good.
I will say, yeah, shout out to the Eagles D-line coach, Clint Hurt. I think it was from Seattle that we signed him this past year, and he's like
Oh,
that. He's
juice.
like 6'8", like 400 pounds,
He's a
but
big
like,
dude. Yeah, he looks like he could strap up.
oh yeah, but he did a phenomenal job with this young line, and
The coaching has just been incredible. The
yeah,
players have been amazing, but this defense as a whole, to top to bottom, is awesome. I've never seen Mahomes rattled like that.
yeah, and I'm super. I mean, you know me, I've always been a defensive back guy, big defense guy, and I'm so happy for just like Darius Slay. You know, but
Yeah,
I don't know if I would pencil him in. I think he's like a borderline Hall of Famer with his career, but
yeah,
he,
he'll get some votes.
yeah, for him to, all those years in Detroit, then to come to Philly, finally get to a Super Bowl, lose, then come back and win. And I mean, if I was him, I would retire. He said he might play one more year max, but I would
I
just go
think
out.
from what he was saying, though, he also understands that it
It won't be here.
most likely won't be with
Yeah.
the Eagles.
So if I'm him, I'm just like, yeah, we're cool.
I
I'm
mean, hey,
good.
if you want to take another paycheck,
Same with
like what did
BG.
I?
Just
Hey,
retire,
listen, what did I
man. Go out on a
say?
high
What did
note.
I say about the Jason Hayward effect? Everyone has a good year when you win a Super Bowl, and you're about to see it when free agency comes around because a lot of people are going to make some money.
I was gonna say
I
we
kind
are
of,
our probably our three. Take away Coop. Our three best defenders are all free agents, and from the Super Bowl performance.
I don't know what
Josh
universe
Sweat,
you're on.
free agent. Milton
I mean, Jalen
Williams,
Carter's here.
free agent. No, but best players in the Super Bowl.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, yeah, Milton Williams, I thought there was a chance we kept him. There is no chance. He's
Not
going to
after
get two
that.
bags.
Not
He's
after
getting
those
two bags
two
easy.
sacks and a strip sack
Good
of
for him,
Mahomes.
man. I
Yeah,
mean, yeah, 2.5 sacks and a strip sack in the Super Bowl. Like,
yeah.
there's literally no chance that we sign him because I
I
mean,
will
one,
draft
you,
somebody. It'll be
I
fun.
mean, yeah, he's also been a backup. You're not going to give him
Well,
like he
it's
deserves like
what
top 15 in the league money.
what they'll do
Easy.
now, which I mean, who knows? But because Cleveland has said that they don't want to trade him. But you let Sweat go, you let Williams go, free up more cap space. I'm giving up a first round pick for Myles Garrett. Run
I
the shit
mean,
back.
yeah, I'm not against it. I think Milton's definitely gone.
I think Sweat's
Sweat,
definitely gone.
Sweat, I think probably is gone as well. He is going to get paid. He's been underpaid for too long because he's always been a solid edge rusher. The
He's a
Bryce Huff
weird
thing is going to come back and bite you
yeah,
in the
he
ass.
comes out in spurts, but he stepped up. A lot of our players stepped up in the most important game. Cooper got
Got to
his
keep Zach Bone.
first and yeah, you pay him whatever he asks for, blank check.
Yeah, you can't let him leave.
Coop, rookie, first interception on his birthday,
Oh,
and
dude,
it's a
that
pick
pick
six
six.
against one of the best quarterbacks of all time. Like you couldn't
That
ask for
play
a
was
better.
amazing. Like he left his guy, baited Patrick Mahomes
Yep.
into like he's just reading him in the zone, not even covering that guy that he threw to. Immediately jumps off it and just picks it off right away. Like you looked at it and you're like, it looks so easy, but like he just embarrassed Patrick Mahomes.
I don't think it's
Oh,
being
it's
talked
incredible.
about how well his like him being a punt returner came in so clutch because of most players I think would have gotten knocked out of bounds, and he somehow like was able to dodge and weave through to get into the end zone.
Yeah.
That one, and then like the Zach, I'm not gonna lie, the Zach Bond pick, I thought it was a Chiefs player diving for a catch at first. This was so athletic. I was like, oh wait, that was us. That was an like on like the 10-yard line.
I
Like,
mean, I also thought like I was also thinking like the Gene one, yeah, sure, the Gene schooled him, but I was like, Mahomes, where are you going with that? I mean, eventually I saw the replay where Tooney gets pushed
yeah,
into his lap. He's
yeah,
got no one else to do.
yeah. It was this is even our
And
punter like down like he downed them at like the 4-yard line or whatever, and that's why Mahomes was throwing so deep, and then
listen,
the Zach Bond
everyone
pick.
but Lovato, everyone but the long snapper had a great game.
Yeah, yeah. It was
Lovato, guy like no most like diehard fans has no idea who this guy is and
now.
gets major airtime on the Super Bowl.
Now, did you have the same reaction I did when it was fourth down and the Chiefs went for it and threw it to the outside, and Avante Maddox comes out of nowhere and deflects the pass for a turnover on downs, and then you were like, "Oh, that's awesome!" And then you're like, "What the fuck is Avante Maddox doing out there?"
Hey man, going back to it's all that depth. I mean, yeah, Maddox has not looked great. I prefer him not to be
Yeah.
on the
Well,
field,
Coop
but
apparently was hurt for a little bit, but
Hey, I mean, no, Maddox went out there and made a huge play,
He
give
did.
him credit.
He
I
did.
was hoping James Bradbury would go out there and get a snap or two. Listen, if Kenny Pickett could go out, James Bradbury, you could let James Bradbury strap up and go out there for a little bit.
I love all the memes of now I'm seeing it's like Kenny Pickett beats Pat Mahomes in the Super Bowl, and it's like Prescott, Burrow, like all these guys don't have Super Bowls. I'm like, all right, let's
I
relax.
mean, hey, Kenny Pickett took a couple snaps too.
I
It's even
also
better. Man, can you just take that in a second? Because I said this about the N Washington game. We put our backups in the NFC Championship
and
game.
the Super
We put our
Bowl.
backups in the Super Bowl.
It's not unheard of.
They scored like 100 points in an NFC Championship game in the Super Bowl combined.
They set the record for most points scored in a postseason with I think it was
Oh man, they
145.
just whew.
So I'm saying this team is insane. Like you cannot find. Normally, you'd be like, oh, maybe the secondary there's a flaw. Maybe linebacker there's a flaw. Maybe the
No.
receivers are a flaw. There's not a flaw in this team. They are. Now we're gonna
Look at
see
the
how it happens in
run.
the offseason, but like they're
Look at the run. I
flawless.
mean, the Packers were hurt. I get that, but their Love is a good quarterback.
Sure.
LaFleur's a good coach. They had some players there.
Hmm.
Jacobs was still there. Defense smothered them.
Yeah.
Then they could play the Rams. I mean, yeah, I
In the
know it
snow.
snowed. Say what you want, but they were smothering the Rams without the snow. And
That was the
then you
closest game.
go and yeah, then you go play the hottest offense player in the league, the team that lit up the Lions
Uh-huh.
and outscored them, and then they just smothered that defense. And then you embarrassed Patrick Mahomes in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, and I think too, like, because I heard some people being like, "Ah, it was a boring game. Like, we want close games, this and that." It's like
That,
I would
that's their
agree.
problem.
I would agree, except for the fact that um, it wasn't just that the Eagles blew out their opponent. It's that they dethroned the villainous that the media is pointed them, the villainous Kansas City Chiefs that all the NFL fans can't stand. With all the Taylor Swift and Patrick Mahomes and NFL ref hoopla that they get criticized for, like the Eagles beat them down. Like it was
Oh yeah.
like punished them. And like that was what a lot of fans wanted to see. Like everyone forgot how much they hated the Eagles and their fan and our fan base because they just enjoyed Pat Mahomes getting fucking thrashed. And I'm
I
so
think at some
happy that
point
the
people were feeling bad for the Chiefs though. They were like, it's like that meme with the Simpsons were like,
they all looked
stop,
like they were
he's
gonna
already dead.
cry. Yeah, yeah. The the one where Milton Williams gets a strip sack and then Jalen Carter basically just punches him in the face. I was like, thank God that didn't get a penalty called.
Well, they
But
ended
it,
up getting a personal foul in it anyway because Milton Williams went and dunked on the crossbar.
yeah, but he got, oh my God, Mahomes got trucked on that. He got hit a lot of times. That's why I
He
was like,
took a
it
beating.
it gave me reminded me of the Tampa Bay game, but like worse. Like you said, like Mahomes actually
Yeah.
was making plays in that game. It was his team was letting him down, and he was running for his life. But this one, it was just like nobody
But
came.
you know what? My one of my biggest things I had said before the game, and like I thought might hurt us, is Mahomes has gotten so good at scrambling and getting out of those
Oh,
like
he's
holes. Because I
slippery.
mean, to be fair, he's been getting hit all year. Like
Mhm.
I've seen him get hit more times than I can remember. Like the tackles have been awful all year. They don't bump Tooney out there for no reason. Their
Yeah.
guards have always been good, but the tackle's been terrible all season. But he's taken hits. He just could not do anything. He could not break the pocket. He could not get any yards scrambling. I think part of that was they weren't blitzing. Like they were ready for him to break the pocket and he
Mhm.
had nowhere to go. Couldn't get, the coverage was too tight to throw it and they weren't sending anyone extra so they had plenty of people waiting for him to break that pocket and run and he just couldn't do it.
Yeah, I think it's not going to be as long as the Patriots drought after their loss was, or after the last whatever Super Bowl. Because I think Brady he went he went to three Super Bowls, I think, by the time he was like 27, and then didn't go back to another one until he was 37, or didn't win another one until he was 37. I forget. Um, so
That
everybody's like, "Oh,
yeah.
Mahomes is not he's not in the discussion anymore." I was like, I mean, he's still up there. It's just like he has plenty of time left in his career, but I think this
Oh,
era
I
of
don't I mean
Chiefs,
I don't know. Listen, he's now lost to Brady in the AFC Championship game, the year they beat the Patriots beat the Rams in the Super Bowl. He lost to Brady, obviously, in the Super Bowl. And I'll
Yeah.
tell you right now, Brady never had come close to losing any Super Bowl like the Chiefs just lost this one.
I'm not I was never of the mindset that he'll be better than Brady when it all said and done. I'm saying he's in that I mean, he's already a top, I would say top 5, top 7 quarterback
Yeah,
in
that's
history.
fine. But I mean,
But
this is a legacy hurting game. Like
yeah, yeah.
the team looked broken.
Yeah, I don't think he was ever going to surpass Brady as all-time great. But I think I was going to say I think this team is going to have a couple years off from Super Bowl appearances. I think Kelsey ends up retiring in this year or a couple years from now. I think they got to retool. They'll still have Mahomes, obviously, but I don't. I think this might be the start of their like rebuild in a sense where they need to really fix the line because both their Super Bowls were heavily impacted by. I mean, they had injuries,
Yeah.
but like heavily impacted by um, bad lines and bad receivers. And I forgot to even had Hollywood Brown. He had like one catch and then
Yeah,
disappeared.
their wide receivers
It's
are, I
weird.
remember someone I was listening to WFP all week. They're like they talked about how good the Chiefs wide receivers are. Like, look at them. They're a collection of old washed receivers.
Yeah,
Juju,
Sheldon
DeAndre
Hopkins. Yeah,
Hopkins, Hollywood Brown. Like 5 years ago, that's a good wide receiver room.
that was it was you know what the first quarter was so weird because Juju was having like good catches and like making some yards and then after that I mean I don't know about you but after that AJ Brown bullshit pass interference I was like oh so this is how this game is going to go they're going to call everything it's going to be one of those games and then we got the gimme call back because someone put their hands all over Goddard um and then
Yeah,
it
they're
was
both
like pretty
those.
chill like refereeing wise I was like shocked but
I mean, yeah, that should be fair. I give him credit. Thought that was pretty straightforward.
yeah.
I mean, there was a lot of uproar about the AJ Brown thing. I actually thought it was okay. I mean, he clearly puts his hand in his face.
Yeah, but it was
I mean,
like a like a
yeah,
graze,
I
you know,
mean,
like it wasn't
I don't know.
He
He clearly got it there. I mean, hands to the
did
face
not. It was not
alone
a
is a
push
penalty.
off. I mean,
Well, no, it'd be more of a. I think it's more of like a hands to face penalty. But regardless,
uh,
tomato tomato. Because I thought the Dallas Goedert one was a little questionable.
I mean,
I
he
actually thought the Saquon Barkley one was a little like tight,
what was the Saquon
but
Barkley one?
the late hit, the
Oh yeah, yeah,
ball that
yeah,
came in.
yeah. It was
I mean, yeah,
kind. I mean, it was definitely
he hit
late.
some late, but I was like,
Yeah,
oh, dude, that's a lot of momentum. I don't know. I was like, whatever, I'll take it.
I
But
saw a couple of Chiefs players in the locker room after were like, yeah, there a couple calls. They were a little like could have gone either way. I'm like,
oh
do
yeah, DeAndre
not,
Hopkins comes out here blaming like, dude,
do not. You were. It
you
was a
could.
bloodbath. You were down like 40-6. Do not.
They didn't call enough penalties for it to matter.
I was like, oh my God.
It was just so clear that we were such a better team than them. Like the thing, like they had nothing. Like we talent wise, we were so much better than them, and I think just desire to win. Like I thought the Chiefs were really going to come out. They were really going to take this three-peat serious, and they looked just defeated. They looked like they had just. I mean, they just looked disinterested. Like the
You look
first
tired.
two, yeah, they just looked like this team is
Too
kicking the
many
crap
Super
out of us,
Bowls.
and yeah, we can't do it. They had no fire, zero fire, and they
No.
ran into a buzzsaw.
I would have never guessed a team that's been this successful. Was it 7 straight AFC championship games or something like that? And how many, what, they've been to 5 Super Bowls? Like, or 6 or 5? I
Five.
forget. 5. Well, he's got 3 rings, right?
Yeah, he's 3-2.
Okay. Yeah. So, no, but this was his fifth loss or sixth loss?
This
Or
was his
fifth,
fifth Super Bowl,
fifth. Okay. So, he only lost one Super Bowl to Brady.
and us, yeah, but
So, okay. Yeah. Got it.
math three and
Got it. Yeah.
two.
Math is hard.
Yeah,
Um, which I mean that's still impressive. But yeah, I mean,
I mean, listen, I don't want to get ahead of myself, but that Chiefs dynasty looked to be a little leaky. I mean, the interior offensive line's good. Trey Smith is a free agent this year, and they are
yeah,
definitely going to have to give him a bag and a half if they want to keep him. They have no tackles. I know Rashee Rice got hurt, and Worthy looks good, so that's
yeah,
nice.
those
But
two are a nice
the other wide
piece.
receivers are washed. Travis Kelce said he's going to keep playing, but
He does
he
not
really
look.
wasn't much of a
He looks
factor this
slow.
year. Yeah, this whole year, really. Defense is, you know what? The Super Bowl effect has really caught up to them on defense. Like every year they were losing a defensive player. You
Yeah,
know, um, They got rid of Snead this past offseason. Justin Reed was gone. Trying to think, well, Chris Jones, McDuffie, I give him credit. They developed him. He's a superstar. Nick Bolton. I mean, the Chiefs are taking a step back, I think, naturally. I think eventually all the
Yeah.
success, catches up to you.
Yeah, that's kind of what
But
I was trying to allude to a little bit. I just think
I
they're gonna
mean,
be
you got to pass the torch to someone. And
yeah,
phew, I mean, I know we got a lot of free agents. Sweat's gone. Milton Williams definitely gone. Becton probably cashed himself out too. I'd like to keep Becton a lot, but I don't know. I don't think you're going to pay him big bucks. Plus, the right guard in between Cam Jurgens and Lane Johnson can't be a very tough position to fill. And I actually like Tyler Steen. I thought he's played well
yeah.
so far.
Yeah, let
But I
me
mean, I still think, dude, DeJean's one of the best players, I think, in the NFL in the next 2 or 3 years. Zach Baum already is one of the best defenders in the league. You're
crazy.
keeping four of the offensive linemen.
The Kobe
Hurts
coming
is here,
back,
Barkley's here,
hopefully.
both Smith and Brown are here. Goddard's going to stay for another year. Quinyon, keeping Bond, he's not going anywhere. Jalen Carter, I mean, Bond, Jalen Carter, Cooper Jean are going to be top five players in this league in the next year or two, if they're not already.
Yeah. I mean, I like I think Quinyon is also going to be as big a piece as Coop. I know Cooper got it up. PFF had him as the highest ranked corner. And slot is a whole different, way to play corner than the outsides. But yeah, he was phenomenal.
Quinyon's gonna be like Namdi and Asamoah with the Raiders, where
Very
Cooper
quiet.
DeJean is gonna be
Yeah.
like the interception playmaker kind of guy. Like he's just gonna make a ton of plays.
Hmm.
But Quinyon, you just won't hear his name once because you're
Yeah,
just
because
gonna
no one's
forget he's
throwing to his
there.
side. Yeah.
Exactly. So I think one is just a constant playmaker because he's all over the field. The other one is just you'll forget he exists.
So our not to be on a downer note, but our unrestricted free agents, Zach Baun,
Keep
Mekhi
him. I
Becton.
don't care what it takes. Give him a blank check, franchise tag. It doesn't matter. He's staying.
Mekhi Becton's going to get paid too, probably,
Becton's
unless
gone.
unless he wants to stay. But
I can't imagine, man. You were a bust. You just won a Super Bowl. Go get your money. I have no problem with that. Tyler Steen, I think's looked good enough to feel comfortable too.
yeah, he stepped in well. He had to step in a couple times in the
Listen, I
Super
liked
Bowl.
Becton a lot this year. I thought he was
Yeah, so
really
did I.
well. He played really well, especially in the run game, man.
Not a yeah,
That is,
not a great pass blocking guard, but
but
phenomenal
he
run
fit with
blocker.
this. I mean, that's again,
Yeah.
give credit to Kellen Moore. Give credit to Nick Sirianni.
Give credit
Play
to
your
Jeff
strengths.
Stoutland.
Yeah, I
Fucking.
mean, but like, listen,
That's why I
you got
like.
an
I'm cool with Lyman going because I know Stoutland can develop someone to come
I mean,
in.
we had the best stat I saw all Super Bowl. We had the biggest and heaviest of offensive line in Super Bowl history, 6'6" and
Insane,
350.
insane.
You know what? Credit to Nick Sirianni and Kellen Moore, because you know what? When they built this team, I know that
And Howie.
they had here. Oh no, I Howie deserves all the credit, but I give credit to Nick and Kellen because I think they had a plan. Nick, this is what his greatest strength is. He's such a good leader, and he knows how to attract talent around him and
Mhm.
to develop talent. Like and him and Kellen Moore and Jeff Stalin, I think, had a plan. They knew what they wanted to do. They got guys like Mekhi Becton and Saquon Barkley that fit that. Or they told Howie, hey, do this, do this, do this. Howie went and exceeded all expectations. And they just had a juggernaut. And that's
Yeah.
what happens. But
All right.
Becton, yeah, probably gone.
Let's start that over then. I'll go through each one. You tell me s- gone or staying. Zach Bond,
I will start a GoFundMe and donate myself to keep him here. He's
donate
staying.
yourself.
There is no way he leaves.
I I think it would be an abomination if they do not sign that man.
There is no way, because I'm assuming you're letting all these guys going because you're keeping Zach Baum.
I also have to imagine, like, he looked so happy to be here. He had his child decked out in Eagles gear. His wife looked happy. He went from a backup special teams player to a defensive player of the year candidate. I would
He's the
think he would give
one.
us a bit of a discount.
He is. I mean, I don't even mind that dude. Give him the money. He just got like
Yeah.
he deserves the money. Yeah, I don't think you get a discount, but you got to pay.
Yeah.
The other thing is, if you're serious about repeating, which you should be, because your window is open and that is a real thing. Erlen Burks look good. Don't get me wrong,
Hmm.
but Nakobe Dean is definitely going to miss time next year.
Oh,
Like
for
I don't know how
sure.
much, but he's definitely missed time. Do you really want to go into next season with Burks and whoever you pick up? Like I
Yeah.
think having Bond is big.
Yeah.
He's turned into the heartbeat of the defense. Like he's incredible. He stays. You pay him premium price. You pay him more than what Roquan Smith got, or you franchise tag him. I don't know, but he stays.
Okay. Mekhi Becton. Sound like you were.
Gone.
Yeah, I
Yeah, he's
agree.
gone.
Go on. Warren Burks.
Stay.
I think we should resign him. I think he's going to get because of how well he played in the playoffs. I think a team will take a chance on him somewhere else.
I think they get a deal done, especially because Dean's going to be hurt.
All right. This one I wasn't aware of. Kenneth Gainwell.
Uh,
I
unless he's
think.
giving you a discount,
I think. Yeah, I think he's gone.
I think he's gone too.
I think they're okay with Shipley and then you could draft the guy too. That's kind
Yeah,
of how,
that's.
if you don't have an elite running back, you kind of just draft and then let their contract run out and then draft another guy.
I mean, the thing is, you're not a two running back scheme like other teams are. You
Yeah.
have Saquon Barkley and
I
then
mean,
someone that
Gainwell will
just.
come in on third downs and here and there,
Well, listen,
but
I like Gainwell, but
he's solid.
he
But
just
yeah,
goes in when Barkley needs a breather.
I think Gainwell could get more money elsewhere. So, Brendan Graham, I think he's going to retire. I think he should
I
retire.
think he retires.
Yeah. Fred Johnson, guard,
Don't see
tackle.
him. Don't see why you wouldn't keep him unless
Yeah.
someone's going to
I
outbid
don't
you.
think
I have
he's
no
going to
problem.
get
I thought he
crazy
plays pretty
money.
well.
Yeah, he was solid when he came in.
Assuming Steen is going to
Good
bump into
locker
the
room guy, it
starting
seemed
lineup.
like.
Yeah, well, assuming Steen bumps up into the starting lineup with Becton gone, I'd like to keep Fred Johnson.
Uh, Lawn snapper Rick Lovato.
Honestly, after the Super Bowl, he might as well move on, but he's a long snapper.
No,
I
he's
mean,
been good for us since Dorn Boss. So,
he's the opposite of Josh Sweat and Mel Williams. He had the worst game of his entire career in the Super Bowl. I don't think anyone's going to pay him.
yeah. Vontae Maddox.
Gone.
Yeah, unless someone gets hurt in training camp and then he's still available.
Can't see it. He's. I like the play he made in the Super Bowl, but he is awful.
This one's interesting, depending on what happens with Slay. Isaiah Rogers, because he could start opposite of Slay. I think.
Yeah, I just.
I wonder what he's going to get paid. Not a lot, but he might
Yeah,
get
but
more money elsewhere.
he could get starter money somewhere else,
Yeah.
and I think you gotta want pinch your pennies.
Mm.
I don't think he's staying.
I think they find a way to keep him.
Okay,
Josh Sweat.
he's gone.
Yeah, I agree.
I'd love for them to make it work, but he's
I'm
gonna
fine.
cost so money. I
I'm
mean,
fine with Sweat going.
he's been like Howie is incredible. Howie's best trait, and this is the ultimate compliment because he's done so well in so many different things. Look at the contracts that he signs these guys to. Like, look at what Hassan Reddick just went through with the Jets.
Yeah,
Howie just signed into a contract that was so cheap for what he should get that Reddick missed regular season games because he wasn't going to play on it. Josh Sweat, Jordan Mailata, these guys that he extends and that are much cheaper discount. It's insane to see what Josh Sweat and Mailata make. Josh Sweat is nearly a double-digit sack guy,
yeah,
but he's going to get paid heavy. He deserves it. He's definitely deserves a raise from what he got on the last extension. And unfortunately, the Bryce Huff thing is going to come back and bite you. And this is where it bites you. You can't keep Sweat with the Bryce Huff signing.
yeah. I hope they find a way to get out of that contract. I don't know how, but
I mean, he's only 1 year in.
yeah. Um, Britton Covey.
No, he was hurt
He's
all year.
restricted, so I mean,
I don't know what he's making, but I'm definitely okay with moving on. I'd rather just get another punt returner. I feel like he's hurt a lot.
and then Milton Williams. I think he is also
He
gone.
gets top 10 interior defense lineman money.
It reminds me of Javon Hargrave. He's gonna get like way more than we were able to afford.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
mean, he's not gonna get
yeah.
Hargrave money, but I'm saying he's
I
gonna.
mean, yeah. Well, no, yeah, he won't get hard grade money, but yeah, I mean, he's just gonna get way too much. He'll make. Would you? All right. Would you be shocked if he gets more money than Sweat?
No, because D tackle is such a coveted position for elite talent. So
Plus, I think people look at him thinking this guy's a rotational guy. He's young.
yeah,
Like Josh Sweat's been a starter for.
he's been around the block.
Yeah.
Uh, but yeah, I mean, it's some big play. Like, yeah, you definitely got to keep on. I think of all this list, realistically, Rodgers and Bond, like that's the ones I want to come back the most. Becton would be nice, but not on a big contract. They could draft because we also have to get younger eventually. Like our window with Lane Johnson's getting closed up. Like he's probably got 3 4 years maybe left. Um,
Yeah, but that's like,
I think even
I, I
Milato's getting
think,
old too.
I mean, I look at these, all right, but look at the players
Well,
that we're
Milato's
talking about.
27. Never mind.
Like, of course, I'm gonna miss like Milton Williams, but
Lane
he's not a
Johnson's
starter.
34.
Yeah, Milton Williams. The problem with Milton Williams is one, he's gonna make way too much money. And two, he's never going to be the starter. Jalen Carter is one of the best players in the league. Jordan Davis is such a good run stopper. Like they play so well to each other with different strengths. Plus, look at what Jalix Hunt and Ojamo did. And that was in one draft class. Like Howie will be fine. Like, I'll
Yeah.
miss Minton Williams. Josh Sweat's the same thing. Nolan Smith's awesome. Graham would be the tricky one. I wouldn't be against bringing him back one more year. I mean, he was the best pass
He,
rusher up until he got hurt.
yeah, and he wouldn't cost much. He would take a team friendly deal, but yeah, I
Yeah, if you can
don't.
get him on a team friendly, I'm all for it. Give him a victory parade.
Yeah, I think actually I'm curious now that we're talking off season. Who are like who's available across the league?
It's tough to say now because no one's been franchise tagged and all that. But I mean,
2025 free
we are the
agents.
defending champs, so who wouldn't want to play with us?
Oh, a lot of receiver. I mean, it's gonna be a big. You have Stephon Diggs, T. Higgins, Keenan Allen, Amari Cooper, Chris Godwin. I'm surprised the Bucks didn't get something with him. Brandon Cooks, Khalil Mack. First time he'll be a free agent in his career.
Not interested in any of those names.
Zach Martin,
Could you
Deontay
imagine?
Johnson.
Could you imagine just letting Becton walk and just bring in Zach Martin? He just wants a ring.
He wants a ring, so he leaves Dallas. Wait, it says Hassan Reddick on here. I thought he got a contract on.
No, I think they just did a 1 year. Basically, let me give you a ton of money. Please come and play.
Oh, really? Carlton Davis, Matt Judon, Javarius Ward, Demarcus Lawrence.
None of these guys are really exciting me.
Yeah, Justin Reed. He's a really good safety. Uh, he might
But
get paid.
the other thing is like the foundation is there. The line is you're returning four of the five offensive line starters. Hurts, Barkley, Goddard, your weapons, they're all coming back. So really on offense, you're only talking about replacing one starting position. Defense, most of those guys you mentioned are backups.
Yeah,
I'm very confident in Howie that
this
he
is
can
not a great
draft the
free agency.
replacements. I don't want any of these washed guys unless they
It's
want
good
to
for
come and get a
older
ring.
receivers, but yeah, otherwise it's nothing really crazy.
Now Miles Garrett,
Could do you know how the city already burned down on Sunday night and traffic lights were ripped out of the floor. It was people were just jumping through windows.
beautiful.
I saw a pic like video slideshow of like all the damage, and they were like Philadelphia's the one city where you can't tell if they were celebrating a championship or they lost and they were just destroying the city. Um, but yeah, I don't know where was I going with that? Why did I bring that up?
Don't know.
Okay, what were you talking about?
I was talking about the Eagles winning the Super Bowl.
Oh, that did happen.
That is true.
That is true. 40 to
Will you
22.
be, yeah, 40-22. That's so annoying. That that
Yeah.
that was not a
Now,
game.
okay, I did want them to score once because I didn't want to shut out in the Super Bowl. It just looks weird. But
What?
I I don't know. It doesn't look as good as B. But yeah, for
Doesn't
it
look
should
that
have
good.
been
There's never been a
40 to
a shutout in
6.
a
It
Super
should have
Bowl.
been 40 to 6.
This logic you're making is so stupid.
It would have been more, I don't know.
If they shut out Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid and the back-to-back defending champs in a first time ever, there's 59 Super Bowls. No one's ever been shut out. I changed my mind. Not the best defense in the last 20 years. They're the best defense of all time.
Also, and I know sports media has become a bit of a like TV drama where a lot of analysts feel like their job now is to make everything blown out way out of proportions where like their takes are stupid hot on purpose just to get publicity. But man, the switch ups on so many professional analysts, like who was it? The Colin Coward, which I hate. His takes are always terrible. He said Hurts was like a top nine quarterback, or like he was like barely in the top 10, and now he's like, yo, he's one of the best winners in the game. Like this, I was like, Get out of here. Like you were talking so much shit on him and the Eagles. And even ESPN, they like all picked KC
All
to
in the
win.
Chiefs. Yeah.
Talked about, oh, well, it doesn't matter how good the Eagles are. I mean, I was the same mindset. Like I was like, the Eagles are by far the better team, and it's going to come down to if they can be better than a superior quarterback and a superior coach. And everyone was like, yeah, but it's the Chiefs. Yeah, but it's the Chiefs. Yeah, but it's the Chiefs,
Which is fair.
which is fair. And but now for them to
They've
turn
earned
around and be
that.
like, yeah, Jalen Hurts, we knew he was a winner. Like no, you talk shit all day, all week about how it's going to be all. All I heard was that the only way the Eagles are going to win is if Saquon Barkley goes nuts. That's all I heard.
Yeah. That's what's even more impressive.
Yeah,
And props to Jalen Hurts in that offense because that was the one thing. Steve Spagnuolo came out with a clear plan, and that was stop Saquon Barkley at all measures.
I mean,
And that was about the only thing they did.
if I told you that Saquon was going to get bottled up for 57 yards on 25 carries and Jalen Hurts was going to throw an interception, you probably would have thought KC won.
Oh man, that interception too. I was like,
That was not,
Jalen,
no, I wasn't on Jalen.
that was a bad interception.
Yeah, but if you like when I watched, it was
You
all
should
that
have
was
never
on
thrown the ball.
Sure, but that was on Jurgens. I don't know what the hell he was doing. He was blocking air.
Yes.
He
No, no,
let
no. I
Bolton
agree with
run
that.
through.
Yeah, but you don't just chuck the ball up into double
It was
coverage.
basically a punt.
But you were in field goal range.
It was a little farther than field goal range, but
I mean, I don't know. I mean,
they were
that
like in the
was
40.
okay. Any professional kicker makes that. Jake Elliott, I don't know.
Maybe it was a little soon for Jake to make that. But
That's all right. Yeah, it all worked out. Because man, after that interception, it was pedal to the metal.
um not surprised, but the disrespect straight out of winning a Super Bowl and like you mentioned, pummeling the Chiefs who were trying to three-peat. The Eagles are already they're already not favored to win next year's Super Bowl, and ESPN had them, I think, fourth on their power rankings for next year. How does that make sense? How does that make any sense?
Because everyone you told me, besides Zach Baum, is a like a replaceable free agent. That's the other thing. Like, it's not like
Yeah,
Jalen Hurts or Saquon Barkley or like Jalen Carter or Baum is the only one that I don't think is replaceable.
yeah,
They'll be fine. This team's so good. I mean, listen, we're Super Bowl champs. We just crushed the Chiefs.
yeah. I will say also for our lovely listeners, we're probably gonna, unless there's something worth talking about, we're probably gonna have a little break. We're probably gonna take off maybe a month until probably what March Madness or maybe we don't really cover the combine, so maybe March Madness leading up to free agency and then the draft and all that. But I'm trying to
To be
think who.
fair, when your team wins the Super Bowl, the offseason is really like not really who cares? I
Yeah,
just spend I go through, I'll watch the Super Bowl replay again, probably tonight. I've already watched it 3 times. I will continue to bring up the Eagles in every conversation that I have with anyone I meet on the day-to-day basis, which in the States, in Philly, of course, is easy. In London, it's a little more difficult. People just, it's hard to rope it into conversation. When people are talking about the weather and I bring in the Eagles won the Super Bowl, it just doesn't hit the same. But this is what we do. I don't really care about the draft. Really don't care at all because we just won the Super Bowl.
yeah.
Could care less. I haven't
I
seen a
mean,
single mock draft. Free
yeah,
agents don't really care.
it's
The only thing I want to see on free agency is Zach Baum get signed. That's the only thing I want to see.
yeah. And then I was gonna say the second big thing. We lost Kellen Moore to the Saints. Um, which I've already seen plenty of memes about, like Kellen Moore won his first and last game in the Superdome. Kellen Moore had more wins in the Superdome than the Dennis Allen, the previous Saints coach.
That's true. Yeah.
Um,
I
so
feel for him.
who were like the early? I do like the Frank Reich potential
I
if he
like that
wants to
idea a
come
lot.
back to be an offensive coordinator with the
Because you know
Eagles.
what you see? And I think what you see in the Chiefs and the Eagles, how it plays out is look at the the longevity and the camaraderie and like what benefits you get from a coordinator not taking a head coaching job. Spagnuolo has been there with Reed for all these Super Bowl wins, and his defenses are always a massive part of it. Fangio, I think I can comfortably say is probably going to slip into that Spagnuolo role. I don't think he's going to go for a head
Why
coaching
would
job.
you?
Yeah,
You're
he already
you're
did it.
home, you know.
He was a head coach once. It did not work at all. Just do your thing. The offense coordinator one, I'd love to bring in Reich because I think Reich would almost potentially slide into that Fangio Spagnola. I'm cool with where I'm at and roll. Um, but other than that, I mean, man, shoot, have a pick of the litter because who the hell wouldn't want the offense coordinator
That's
job?
what I'm thinking. It's like before it was more of like, hey, you're gonna come into this opportunity with a talented team, but there's a lot of question marks with last year, right? Of how they're gonna recover from the disaster of 2022 and then or 23. And then but like this is the best offense in the league. Like the Lions are up there, of course, but like better running back, better
Yep,
receivers,
yep,
quarterback.
better.
I'd take Hurts over. I think Goff has definitely resurrected his career with Detroit, but I
I don't
don't
even
think
think this is a question.
Jalen Hurts has never thrown 5 interceptions in a game.
I am not even blinking at the thought of Jalen Hurts over Jared Goff.
No. Um. Yeah. No. I'm looking at this Eagles Wire website.
I mean,
Not a lot of like names I'm familiar with. It's a lot of young guys and a lot of former like Byron Leftwich, but
I'm happy to go internal. I don't know who's there, but the other thing you gotta establish is the offense isn't changing. We talked about this. They're replacing one starter.
yeah,
They already know
you
what
run the damn
worked.
ball.
Nick Sirianni is an offensive head coach.
Yeah.
Like you could just bring on a guy and be like, hey, just we're gonna do what we did last year. Just don't get cute.
Now, how obviously we're hot off of a Super Bowl win.
We did win the Super Bowl, yes.
We did, yes. Did you know we won the Super Bowl?
First time hearing of it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we won the Super Bowl.
Hmm.
Um, I've already heard some of the dynasty talks. I think if they can keep this core together, I mean, I don't know what qualifies a dynasty. I mean, we went to the Super Bowl, lost, took a year off, came back and won. So I would say if we go back again next year, you know, win and then maybe go back 2 years, win or lose, whatever. Like I think that's, within the realm. But if you look around the league, like NFC, AFC obviously been dominated by the Chiefs and Patriots the last decade, but NFC too, it's been like it's really the Eagles, 49ers, and like the Packers. And then I guess you could throw the Rams in there. Like those
Listen,
are
I
really the
mean,
only teams that make any noise in the playoffs.
look at your core positions or
Hmm.
core people, we'll say. Hurts, obviously, it starts and finishes with quarterback. Hurts is a franchise Super Bowl winning quarterback.
Yeah.
Nick Sirianni is a good head coach. Did never wanted to fire him in the first place. Was I mad? Was I saying that he's not a great X and O's guy? He's a great culture setter and attracts good talent. And give him say whatever you want about his gimmicks or whatever. The players love him. That's been
Yeah.
proven over and over again. You got the head coach. We talked to him, Fangio. I think he said, I just don't see him doing anything else or want to do anything else. You're set there. Just defensive genius. Howie is obviously the best in the game. Even, hell, Laurie's a good owner. Man, look at the clown shows you've seen at other teams. Look at Woody Johnson and the embarrassment he just went through with the Jets. Laurie is a good owner, and he starts on the top. And then go back to the roster. You got top-notch talent in all the premium positions: wide receiver, left tackle, right tackle,
Yeah.
defensive line, corners, and a lot of them aren't going anywhere. Like a lot of them are drafted guys. Look at this roster. Who wasn't drafted by this team? Like AJ Brown and Saquon Barkley. That's about it?
Yeah. And did you see the results of the Wentz trade in totality? It was like we traded Wentz to Indy, and then in the end, I think it was we ended up with Devontae Smith, AJ Brown, Jalen Carter, and Cooper DeJean.
Not bad. It's
Hell of a
not
trade.
bad. It's not bad,
That would probably get rejected in Madden, but
without a doubt.
yeah. Um, I think we have the 22nd Worst cap space available or something like that.
It's not bad
Also,
considering you just won a Super Bowl.
side note, hilarious that the Saints won 5 games and no one wanted to go and coach them, and they're 32nd in the league in cap space available. Like, who the fuck are they paying?
They're playing like probably Drew
Like
Brees and
Kamara,
like
and Derek Carr,
Deuce McAllister is probably still making money on that team.
Jason Horn.
Jason Horn, yeah. Jeremy Shockey's probably got something coming his way. They are, I mean, listen, Moore was great, really good coordinator. I was really happy with him throughout the year. Thought he had a good game plan Super Bowl. Good luck, buddy. I'm rooting for you.
Yeah,
You are going to a tough situation.
yeah, it's gonna be interesting for sure. I'm more for us at least. I think I'd rather last time we hired from within it wasn't the best. So I'd rather the Frank Reich thing, yeah, I think as long as he's back to like his roots of what he was when we went to the Super Bowl in 2017, then I'm all for it.
That would be my ideal situation. I mean, obviously, you are right.
Because
Between
he's not.
Press Taylor and Brian Johnson, internal hires have been
I
disastrous.
don't know if it was in our group chat. I don't know if it was you or Nick who was saying like he's probably not going to go after a head coaching job again. So like
Tell you, he's
if
in that Fangio Spagnuolo point of his career.
yeah, if we can you imagine that's how they start. Because think about the Patriots. Like I don't think their coordinators really left too much
They
during
always came
their
back. That was the thing. But to be fair, the
yeah.
Chiefs are in the same boat. Nagy's back. But you had Bieniemy who never left
Yeah.
up until, and then once Bieniemy left, you replaced him with Matt Nagy, who was there before him.
And their offense never was the same after Bieniemy. Like they weren't as good. But maybe hey, maybe they go back and they bring Tyreek Hill apparently once out of Miami. Maybe they go and
I'm
bring
pretty
him
sure they
back.
won two Super Bowls after Bieniemy left.
Sure, but I'm saying their offense was not as potent as
I mean, I don't know. Potent offense usually wins two Super Bowls.
uh, sure. But um yeah, so the Philadelphia Eagles won the Super Bowl. Jalen
Yeah,
Hurts, MVP, well deserved, way more efficient than his counterpart, Pat Mahomes. Let me also if you type in Eagles on oh wait, hold on. I think if you type in Eagles on Google, it does like confetti or something. Let's see.
really.
Yep, it does some fireworks and Eagles NFL champions rises up on the screen.
Hmm. Do that myself.
Yeah. Um so yeah, stat wise, Jalen's super efficient. 17 of 22. 221 yards, two tutties, and that one interception. But also ran the ball for 72 yards. You know what's funny though? This was
Hmm.
such a Vegas game because uh Saquon did not hit any of his like he was the most bet on player probably for like oh he's gonna hit 100 total yard or 100 rushing yards. He's gonna score. The Chiefs are gonna win. It's gonna be a close game, and nothing like panned out. I think I did a 10 leg because I'm stupid parlay, and actually everything looked like it was going well. And then I think the only things that I had Pacheco scoring a touchdown that didn't happen. Um, I had what else was it? I had Goddard and Kelsey both 50 yards. That didn't happen. But other than that, and then Saquon scoring. But yeah, other than that,
I mean, that's like
overall,
half the legs you just said right there. That didn't happen. Doesn't sound like we're very close.
6 out of 4. I'll take it.
Yeah.
But yeah, defense was. I mean, Jalen was out in Disney World, and someone in the crowd yelled, "How about that defense?" And he cracked a big smile. So I liked that he let his tough guy doors like opened it up because you could tell. I don't know if you were watching the post game interview. The first person, I want to say it was Aaron Andrews, was talking to him right after the game. You could tell he was like taking his time to speak because he was getting emotional and
Yeah.
probably trying to hold back, tears and all that. But I saw him hugging his dad, and then I could tell he was getting emotional. And Trotter Jr. played. He played a couple plays, made a tackle, did the X-Man chop, and then I saw a video of
I did see that.
him and Trot hugging it up. So good for them. Um, but yeah, overall, like phenomenal vibes. Like I said, stress-free, uh, no heart attacks, you know. It was a nice, relaxing beatdown, and we prevented the three-peat, defeated the
We can all be
champs.
grateful of that.
Second time, because Patriots were at the Super Bowl 3 years in a row, and they
That's
won two
true.
out of three, and we were the
Yeah.
only one that beat them.
This is what happens when you're great.
It's gonna be nice. We'll see what the future holds, but yeah, I think this team has a good 4 or 5 year window. I think by end of 4 years, AJ's gonna call it a career probably. I think Lane will retire. So I think in the next four
Hey,
years we can get back, even one more time and
comes
get
back to
six.
what I said though. You got it up top. Lori, Howie, Nick, Jalen. You'll be fine.
I mean, also we're the younger Eagles generation of fans, and we've been blessed since the 2000s, since Jeff Lurie took over with
Exactly. Great
great
owner.
teams. Great. I think the Eagles are, well, they have the most postseason wins besides the Patriots, I think, since 2000. And we're like the fifth winningest team since 2000. Um, but if you had told like, a lifelong Eagles fan in their 60s and 70s that, hey, the Eagles are going to play in three Super Bowls in 8 years and win two of them, they would have been like, no. Because
I gotta
they
be
they saw
honest.
what, one Super Bowl? So from like the 30s to like 2004, there was one Super Bowl.
Hearing that three Super Bowls in 8 years and you're gonna win two of them. It's a beautiful sight. Do have that puts a smile on my face.
Three Super Bowls in 8 years. It's actually insane.
Love it.
Actually insane. But yeah, now we have we've grown up into that teams with two Super Bowls. I feel like there's a huge gap after that, isn't it? Like
I think the Buccaneers,
I think the
Ravens,
Washington has
maybe.
three. Let me see. No, I don't want a list of winners. I want to see the totality. Hmm. Oh wait. Oh, what is this
It
picture?
does jump you up because there's like a handful of teams that have only won one.
Oh, this is 2024. Okay.
So the Rams, the Dolphins, the Bucks, the Ravens, the Colts, all are two.
Yeah, so Patriots, Steelers have six. Dallas, San Fran have five. Broncos, oh sorry, this is going backwards. Green Bay Giants have four.
Chiefs,
Chiefs have four, yeah. And then Washington, the Raiders, and
Broncos,
Broncos have three. So we would jump into the third or the fourth tier if we win another one. But
only time will tell.
Rams, yeah, Rams and Dolphins are the only other teams with two, right?
Yeah,
Pretty good company.
not bad. Well, hey, man, Super Bowl champs.
We are Super Bowl champs. Everybody get your rep your gear. I already got my hat. I got a hat, a shirt, and a glass mug with all the players' names on it. But other than that, I'll
Well,
wait for some discounts because I learned from the last time we won a Super Bowl and I dropped like 250 on gear as soon as it came out, and I was like, all right, let's relax.
yeah, I feel that. Well, hey, well, plenty of time. Parade's on Friday. I will
Yeah,
be watching.
I will be there.
Enjoy it. Send some snaps. Send some love.
I will drink a beer for you.
Please do.
All right, your Eagles, Super Bowl champs. Fly,
Go
Eagles, fly.
Birds.
Go Birds. Peace.
Peace.